So I managed to pop my computer, my big desktop. That's why all the screens are off right now. And well, I was a bit frustrating and lost a day of work, but Scan have sent me something straight away to hopefully get that fixed. I actually bought that on Scan. They haven't asked me to make this review or anything. So I bought a new power supply, and I also thought that just in case I couldn't get it fixed in time, I'd buy a new laptop as well, because my older laptop is not really up to 4K editing. And so, well, this was the well-priced, high-powered option that I can get with the latest chip from Intel. This is the Core Ultra 7. And Intel are rebranding from the older Core i3, i5, i7 and i9 to this Core Ultra chips. And there's a lot of differences that I think I'll make a separate video on that chip, and this will be about the laptop. So today I've been working on this actually, just sort of writing, which is really good actually. This is the next dock and my Samsung Z Fold 3 and using it in DeX mode. That's what I've been doing today. But this unboxing laptops will be a kind of new little category for me. And if you like this, if you're interested in more of this type of content around actual laptops for professionals, then do let me know. And don't forget to like the content, ask any questions in the comments if you want to know anything specific about this laptop or these chips, and even share it out, because the more this video spreads, the more likely I'll be able to focus on this type of tech as a new category here on my channel in the future. This is the MSI Prestige 16. They're branding everything with AI at the minute, because one big difference about this and the previous lot of Intel chips is they've added a neural processing unit to it. Premium, innovative technology, extreme performance, luxurious aesthetic, innovative Prestige series. Cool. Cold laptop. 140 watts maximum apparently. So we have got a headphone jack, full-size SD card, actual Ethernet port. Most of the ports are on the back. 2 Type-C ports, HDMI, and a Type-A port. Cool. So this is the MSI Prestige AI 16. It has a Core Ultra 7, that's 155H chip. That is Meteor Lake, so that is the latest generation. They've also made Raptor Lake, which is 14th generation. It's a slight refresh of actually the older chip. But this is a new chip for this year, totally new architecture. This is a 32GB RAM chip, which is really exciting. Intel are helping to make sure that people actually put a significant amount of RAM, because if you aren't enjoying your computer right now, it's probably because of the lack of RAM. So Intel are encouraging people to actually put in larger amounts of RAM. So 32GB of RAM. What I need to do on the computer is, it's a good amount. It's got a 1TB M2 SSD, and it's got a 4060 graphics card. So an absolutely massive trackpad, way bigger than what I'm used to. What I really need to do was I just needed to get up and running quickly. I couldn't really wait for the inevitable complications with actually trying to fix that big PC, but I will fix that and I'll be back on the full desktop as well. But this will be here just as a useful thing. And I have actually been looking to replace my previous laptop, which I did like. It's a really stylish laptop that I've got, HP Spectre, but it just got so hot that it was totally unusable as a laptop. And one thing that Intel's latest generation of chips, they should be a lot more power efficient. So it should be wasting less energy, heating up less for just low power runs. It was unusable to use my previous laptop on my lap. So that's exciting to see that hopefully this is colder. Something that I'm gonna do in this video, just check that out after a few days. But my older laptop, the HP, it got absolutely scorching for heavier loads like video editing. So I'm really interested to see how this is gonna handle those situations. And also it had too little RAM, it only had 8GB. So way more on this for running intense programs like the Adobe suite that I use. And it was really difficult to use multiple Adobe programs at once. So I was using Premiere and Photoshop at the same time. And that's just a total no-go on my previous laptop. Hopefully 32GB of RAM should cut it. This one doesn't have a touchscreen. I don't think I'm going to miss that much because I didn't end up using it. And it's not a convertible, but I think going for the power is going to be the choice for me. So I'm going to get this new laptop set up. I'm going to see how it performs. I'm going to basically edit this video on it and see how that goes. And hopefully this will mean that I can keep getting some videos out whilst I fix my bigger computer. So I've been using this MSI laptop now for the best part of a week, and I am really pleased with my purchase. I have some comments though, and it's a bit of a warning really, because having read and watched a few reviews online, one of them said that the camera and the mic array in this laptop were really good. They're not. They should be good on paper. It's a 1080p webcam, sure, it's got a 3 microphone array. Sounds really good, right? But here's why you're best to watch reviews by people who've actually tested out the devices and not just written the review based on the spec sheet. I mean, have a listen and a watch of this. This is me just testing out the 1080p cam. I haven't done anything with the lighting. I've just got a window and the light obviously above me, and I'm just testing out the mic array because when I use the mic array in Adobe Premiere Pro, I thought that it was really poor quality sound. Is it actually any better than that when you're using it with a kind of web-based streaming platform? Because this will be a similar sort of experience to what you'd get if you were using Zoom or Teams or anything like that. And just for comparison, let's compare it to the iPivo that I've tested out. So just as a sort of direct comparison, this is the iPivo with its microphone. It's got this sort of AI noise reduction microphone, which is on now. Let's see how that sounds compared to the microphone array in the MSI laptop. I am surprised about just how bad the onboard microphone is. I mean, if this is the quality of the microphone and the laptop for calls, I will be plugging in a headset or something, or external microphone, whenever I make any kind of important call. And even that was with some compression and denoise applied. I think that the iPivo here looks and sounds way better. So as a quick solution for video calls, that's what I'll be using. But neither of them, of course, come close to a real camera and the mics that I use, unfortunately. Now, all my reviews are the result of real professional world testing. So try and spot and just ignore that lazy journalism that you get on a lot of the big review sites. It's not all of the reviewers, of course. I don't want to tar them all with the same brush, but there are a few of them. Many of those sites are just SEO and ad optimized traps, really. Another thing that I'm surprised about in using a new laptop and not having set up a new computer for a little while, just the lengths that Microsoft are actually going to try and stop you downloading and using Google Chrome. It's a bit ridiculous, to be honest. And after all the hot water they got into with Internet Explorer back in the day, they just think that it's acceptable to keep bonging up that you don't need to install Chrome. And I've also heard lots of chat that they've been kind of like taking your browsing history directly from Chrome straight into Edge without even asking. And it's constantly telling you what a great modern browser Edge is and how it's built on the same technology as Chrome and that you should use that instead. It's a bit much, really. Now, Edge does have some good features, the Copilot feature, of course, but that's built into Windows 11 anyway now. Also, early on in my testing, I realized how noisy the fans get. I actually tested it. It was up to 50 decibels when it was just trying to install some software. Okay, that was right behind the device, but it does have good cooling solutions, but they are quite loud. Now, most of the reviews that I've seen so far on this device and Core Ultra devices, they are actually sponsored videos. So here's an independent viewpoint at least. I do like the way this system uses the ARC graphics as well. When it's in low power mode, it uses the onboard graphics. And when it needs to, it'll spin up the full graphics card for that 4K encode and decode stuff in Premiere. And it has been a good experience of editing this video so far. I haven't actually found anything so far which is using the MPU. Perhaps they'll be a little bit more integrated into Windows 12 and the next generation of Office and video and photo apps. We'll see. I can report that the battery life is significantly better than other laptops I've used recently. I'm getting somewhere like 8 to 10 hours if I'm just using the browser, and about 2 or 3 if I'm doing intensive workloads like Adobe apps, for example. I can also happily report that the laptop stays pretty cool, at least the base of it does. It clearly has a good cooling system, a nice open set of vents here for dissipation. That is really good. I do wish that it had 2 slots for M.2 SSDs. That would have been really useful for my editing workflows, but I guess that the graphics card is probably using the second slot. But it might be worth considering that if you're not doing much that needs to be accelerated by a full GPU, it might be worth considering that you'd rather have the extra storage and you could just get away with the ARC graphics. And this is one thing I was talking about at the top of the video, that Intel will actually not let you put the ARC graphics badge on a computer unless you have at least 16 gigabytes of RAM along with the Core Ultra CPU. And that's fabulous, as it just puts that little bit of pressure on the manufacturers to add in that little bit more RAM, which will make a big difference in the quality of the experience in using a modern laptop. I also found that the 32 gigabytes in it was perfectly enough to be switching between multiple Adobe softwares, so I often use Photoshop at the same time as using Premiere when I'm, for instance, making a thumbnail and editing or exporting a video, and it handled that just fine. Yeah, it's a good laptop. So what are my conclusions? Well, you can't fully replace a desktop PC personally anyway with a laptop just yet. I know some people do that, but I need too many peripheries. And well, hey, it was the power supply. And after replacing that, the big PC is back online and I'm back in business. But I must say the service at Scan to get this computer and the new power unit out in less than 48 hours with free delivery, by the way, was pretty fabulous. And you will find a link to them in the description. And if you're considering buying any computer parts in the UK, I can certainly recommend them. But I'm just looking for something that I can comfortably enjoy in other places around the house, and of course out and about. Now I'll be back with another video specifically about the Meteor Lake CPU. I think there is a very interesting moment in CPU design right now, and a great comparison between Apple, AMD and Intel, and even with Snapdragon entering the laptop CPU world, it is about to get really interesting. This chipset aims to increase battery and performance, but a bit more on that in that separate video. For now, let me know if you have any more questions about this, the MSI laptop, or about the Core Ultra itself. And let me know if you have any other suggestions of computers you'd like to see me try.